So everyone, let's start with the carbylamine test. So carbylamine test is again a very important test of nitrogen containing compounds, and especially this is one of the few reactions in which isocyanide forms. We have not seen the reactions where the formation of isocyanates takes place. So this is the reaction where we will see the formation of isocyanide. Okay, and because the isocyanides have a peculiar smell, that is why this reaction is also used for the test. What kind of test for the presence of aliphatic, primary aliphatic or aromatic amine. So any primary aliphatic amine or primary aromatic amine will give this test. This reaction takes place in the presence of chloroform and alcoholic KOH. These reagents are the same reagents which we used in alcohol chapter for Rimer-Tiemann. CHCl3 and alcoholic KOH. We have to basically heat these amines, primary amines or any amine which, if you want to distinguish them and if you want to figure out whether it is the primary amine presence is there or not, we'll heat it with chloroform and alcoholic KOH, and if we find the very foul smelling compound formed, that means the carbylamine test is positive, or you can say isocyanide test is positive. Now, what is the important thing about this reaction? This reaction goes through a carbene mechanism. So we have in detail done the nitrene and carbene reactions in the class, and in fact when we did the Rimer-Tiemann also, there also we figured out that CHCl3 and KOH reaction, that is Rimer-Tiemann reaction, goes through the carbene mechanism there also. Similarly, here also the reaction goes through carbene mechanism. You can say pretty much similar steps are there in Rimer-Tiemann as well as in this reaction. Let's see what this reaction is about. So in this reaction, we take the amine, primary or aliphatic or aromatic, reacted with CHCl3 and KOH. KOH must be alcoholic, and it gets converted into isocyanide, 3KCl and 3H2. Now what exactly is happening so that it is converting into this isocyanide, we will understand. Let's figure out the mechanism quickly. In mechanism, we had seen what all two major things are there: chloroform and alcoholic KOH. So basically you have chloroform in the basic medium. Or alkaline medium. So I can write chloroform as HCsCClClCl, and KOH I can write it as OH minus. So in this OH minus being basic in nature and the hydrogen present on the chloroform being acidic in nature, acid-base reaction will take place. We also know that acid-base reactions are the fastest. Why this hydrogen is acidic? Because 3 electron withdrawing chlorines are present. Inductive effect of chlorine is very strong, and that's why causing this hydrogen to be acidic hydrogen. So loss of water molecule will take place, and we will get CCl3. CCl3 minus will be formed. Now in the CCl3, carbon is carrying a negative charge and 3 chlorines are present. These 3 chlorines have the lone pairs on their outermost shells also, and carbon is also carrying a negative charge on itself. So basically strong repulsion is going to happen, and ultimately carbon will try to get rid of the negative charge. So what it will do, it will kick out the chlorine out of its structure. And this elimination, where the first species has gone from the same atom and the second species is also going from the same atom. What do I mean? Hydrogen came out from this carbon and chlorine is also coming out from the same carbon. Such eliminations are called as alpha elimination. So basically here alpha elimination is happening. Now to help you, what is the beta elimination? In beta elimination, what happens if hydrogen is coming out from one carbon, the leaving group comes out from the another carbon. So if removal of hydrogen is happening from here, leaving group will leave from the other carbon. So leaving group wala carbon is alpha carbon, and the hydrogen is getting removed from the beta carbon, and that is why the reaction is called as beta elimination. But here, what is the difference? Your carbon has hydrogen and carbon has the leaving group. So on the same atom, you have hydrogen as well as leaving group both present. When both gets removed from the same carbon, it is called as alpha elimination. Obviously, when the alpha elimination will happen, the atom, that is carbon, from where the removal is happening, that will not be stable and the valencies will not be fulfilled. Unlike in the beta elimination, the double bond forms. Here, the lone pair will be present and the species will become carbene. That is why we say this reaction goes through the carbene intermediate. So carbene intermediate is formed, which is naturally an electron deficient species, and now this will attack on amine which is present in our solution. Now how the reaction will take place when amine ke upar it will react? So the reaction, the lone pair of amine, and this is, I told you, is a electrophilic species, and this is a nucleophile. Electrophile attack will happen, and this is how the bond formation will take place. Nitrogen will give the electron pair to carbon and will try to form the bond here. In that process, nitrogen will carry a positive charge because it has given its lone pair there, and because carbon will get an excess of electron, it will be having a negative charge on itself. Now to get rid of their respective charges or to neutralize themselves, as well as because the basic medium is present, basic medium will also assist nitrogen to kick out the hydrogen. We will have both of the hydrogen removals happening from here, and in the same time chlorines to stabilize the molecule. So hydrogen, chlorine, if hydrogen is coming is going out as H plus, chlorine will go out as Cl minus. Again, hydrogen from here is going out as H plus and chlorine is going out as a Cl minus. So nitrogen is removing its hydrogens and carbon is removing its chlorines, ultimately giving us the isocyanide. Okay, so this is how the reaction will take place. You will get the respective isocyanide, which is a very, very foul smelling compound, and this 2HCl will ultimately react with KOH because OH minus is still there in the system, ultimately forming KCl and H2O. That is why in the reaction, when you'll see, when I wrote in the beginning, I wrote KCl and H2O, but this KCl and H2O is forming later on. Once the HCl is formed, that will react with KOH present in the system, which is still present in the system, and ultimately will form KCl and H2O. Now in this reaction, as I said, this reaction has important points like the intermediate stage is carbene. The reaction where alpha elimination takes place, that means hydrogen. In fact, wherever the nitrene and carbene, everything is forming, always the elimination is gonna be alpha elimination only. Now this, as I said, has this isocyanide forming has an offensive smell and hence being used for the distinguishing test. And I also mentioned that the same set of reagents are used for remertiment. Pretty much the mechanism is also same. Carbene forms there and the reaction proceeds in pretty much a similar manner. So do not get confused or do not forget that the same set of reagents are being used for carbylamine and same set of reagents are being used for remertiment, and the mechanism is also halfway same till the carbene formation. Now once you have understood this, you can do the question number 12, 15, 17, 18, 19 and 25 from nitrogen containing compounds, MSc. Nitrogen containing compounds, MSc elementary. All of you try this and ask me if you don't understand or you are not able to solve any question.